Now we will start adding assembly constraints. Go to Start, Mechanical Design, Assembly Design. If there are blurred icons in the toolbar, you need to activate a product. Double-click Assemble Blocks. First, we'll need to move the parts away from each other to more easily select the defining geometry for the constraints. In the Move toolbar, select the Manipulation icon. In the pop-up window, select the top right option to translate by defining an axis. Select an edge of the wedge and drag it completely out of the main block. To select a new edge, click one of the other options in the pop-up and reselect Define by Axis. Continue dragging the rest of the parts out from the main block. Under the Constraints toolbar, select the Fixed Component constraint and click on Main Block. In the Constraints toolbar, select Contact Constraint. The pop-up just lets you know that the constraints will be applied to the selected product. Select the sides of the main block and the frame that are in contact with each other. Select Contact Constraint again. On the pop-up, select the box that says Do Not Prompt in the Future option. Select the two other surfaces of the main block and frame that are in contact. To set the frame in the center of the main block, we'll need to define an offset constraint. In the Constraints toolbar, select Offset Constraint. Select the two corresponding front surfaces for each part. In the pop-up window, type in an offset of 0.75 inches. The Update icon at the bottom will apply the constraints and move the frame to the main block. Apply the constraints in sets. Fully constrain a part before moving on to the next part. Apply contact and offset constraints in the same manner as before for the wedge and small block. For the peg, use the coincidence constraint in place of the contact constraints and hover around the center line of the peg and hole of the main block. Once the constraints are applied, we want to check that the assembly is fully constrained. In the Move toolbar, select the Explode icon. In the pop-up window, select the empty field next to Fixed Product and select Main Block since it is our fixed part. Select Apply and click OK on the pop-up. You can control how much the parts move away from the fixed part by adjusting the slider. Click OK on the pop-up, acknowledging the change in position of the parts. Use the Manipulate tool to further change the positions of the shapes to verify all of the degrees of freedom are constrained for the parts. When you update, all of the parts should go back into place. Don't forget to use Save Management to save the assembly.